Bassheads, what's good? Listen, I know I've been putting a lot of stuff out in the last few days, but I was just about to record just a play along from my Instagram, and it really made me start thinking about how I learned how to thump and pluck on the bass, how I learned how to play bass, period. And the number one way to do that, you can tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that I said that the number one way to learn how to do this is by listening. Period. Period. You need to go to the source. You need to go to the source and you need to listen. This style was not born out. Nobody read a book to do it. Nobody read a book. What happened was people heard it, found it, and because we live in a, capitalist society, folks started writing it down and all of that stuff. But the number one way to learn how to thump and pluck on a bass guitar is to listen. So I'm going to give you an example of that. And the play along that I was going to do earlier is Head by Prince. And the reason I'm looking at this, and I can't play the whole thing for copyright purposes, but there's a few things that I want to show you about this and why I think it's a great example. Of course, I would go even further and say you need to go to Larry Graham. You need to go to Larry Graham first. Everyday people. You know what I mean? You must. You absolutely must. But let's listen. Again, I can't play the whole thing, but I'm going to show you. I can't play the whole thing because of copyright, demonetization, all that stuff. But listen to the drums. So I don't care what anybody says. Rhythm in this thing is first. Rhythm in this thing is first. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. I don't win any prizes for being right, but I'm gonna stand on business on this one. What is the first thing we're grooving on? One, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 1. Rhythm, right? 1, 1 and 2. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2. I'm setting up the loop points here. That's why I'm pausing here. I just want to make sure I have the loop points set up right, because I really want to demonstrate this. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Now, before I even choose a note, back in the days, listen, I thump pretty well. I do. I'm not the best at it, and it's not something that I do exclusively. I do it as a means to an end, right? But when I was growing up, this was the stuff that I listened to. This was the stuff that I was influenced by mostly. And this was records, right? Listening to the records. I wish something like Songmaster Pro had been around, link below, that would allow me to like really separate these tracks and really get inside of the things that are happening. But rhythm first, okay? And I'm just right? Before I even look at a note. Now, the tonality is A minor. If I just thump on that on beat 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now, there's a few things that I can do to make that one feel different. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dynamics, slides. Right? Now watch this. Here's the octave. There's a slide, octave, right? And a slide. Now watch me do a flam. What did I do with that flam? I barred the A and the flat 7, which is G. I barred that and then a hammer on. And it's sloppy. This thing is not textbook stuff. It's somebody comes and writes this down or does it in a tutorial or whatever. Let me put you in the mind real quick. Let me stop this for a second. Let me put you in the mind real quick of young men making music. This is an important point. Young men making music. Man, these dudes may have had music classes, orchestra, band, and stuff like that in school, but these are young men, young, virile, feral young men who are singing about a song about making a bet with a woman on her wedding night. It's like there's no textbook in this. This is teenage angst is what this is, right? Okay, I'm going too far. Listen. Even without the drums. Now, and it's good that I take the drums out because watch this. If it's just me by myself, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. My thumb is the kick. My thumb is also hi-hat. My pluck becomes the snare. Now, let's add another harmonic element. The next harmonic element is going to be the G. The G is the flat 7. Okay? This is true now. It's true today. It's true yesterday. It's going to be true the day after tomorrow. And for all eternity until the cows come home. If that's the note I'm playing, the note a whole step below it is going to be the flat 7. Ad nauseum forever until the end of time, right? But before I was able to explain that, before I was able to intellectualize that, I was able to play it. And this is my philosophy about play, hear, see, explain. Play, see, hear, explain. What do I mean by that? Can I physically play the idea? Yes. Cool. We need that. That's already there. Can I see it in my mind's eye? I know what a flat 7 is going to be. I know where it's going to be. I don't need to look at the bass or anything. I know where it is. Right? Can I hear it? Can I hear the difference between and see what I did? Can I hear the difference between a major 7 and a flat 7 in this case, right? Then can I explain it? Hey, this is what I'm doing. You dig? So what I'm saying is that long before on that bass, on that PVT 40 right there, when I was a kid, before I was able to sit here on YouTube or anywhere else for that matter and explain it, I knew how to play it. I knew how to see it. I knew how to hear it. Right? So these things, they come in different forms, but you got to be able to see it. You got to be able to see, hear, and play it. Right? For sure. So we got that. I explained all that, but now I got the flat 7. This is one of the reasons why I really enjoy making videos without backing tracks, without drum loops and stuff like that, because who's in charge of the time? Who's in charge of the time? Everybody's in charge of the time. Everybody's in charge of groove. When it comes to thumping, rhythm is first. There's that grease, right? What is my fingering choice? My fingering choice is my pinky, because I'm going to play the flat 7 with my finger, with my first finger. So the choices that I make on fingering is economy of motion. It doesn't matter what I'm playing. It's about economy of motion. What makes the most sense to play? Would it make sense to play this? Maybe, right? Or everywhere in my body is going to inform time. I don't know if that's the right word that I want to use, but everywhere in my body is there's some bit of the time is going to be represented. So 2 downbeats. 1, 2, 3. Eighth notes here. What happened there? Let's talk about that note. If I said I'm in A minor, then watch this. Here's one of those tried and true shapes, particularly if you are playing funk music. A is the root. That happens to be the home of the tonality that we're playing in. But if I say A minor, that means there's a minor third that lives in there. So here's my root. There's the minor third. Now the minor third is also going to have an octave, and it's right there. You dig? So from the root, I visualize this and I see that. That happens. There's nobody measuring the the time of doing that. That's slop, man. Let's talk about that. There's our flat 7 to our 6, right? But here's one thing that I could bet money on. I would bet money on this. That Prince, Andre Simone, or none of those guys, at least back then, would have been able to tell you what they were doing. They had vocabulary. Where did they get the vocabulary from? Right? The source. Graham, Sly. Without Sly, there is no Prince. Right? So they're getting that information from the source, and they're listening because they are in a time the internet doesn't exist. They only have records, right? They don't have as much access to information as we do now. So this kind of goes along with my post yesterday, and my thinking yesterday when I was thinking about tab. Man, I could put tab on the screen all day long. That's not going to help you. Not only is it not going to help you, but it's going to be a waste of my time. I fundamentally don't believe in it. Right? You gotta listen. I don't know why I'm so excited this morning. Maybe the pre-workout. I do need to change I got gym clothes drying, and I do need to go to the gym, so that might have something to do with it. But I hope you get the spirit of what I'm saying. Carly, I'm going to read your comment in just a moment. I just want to demonstrate this real quick. So now, here's the groove. And this is the beautiful thing about Songmaster Pro. that I really should, that is linked. It is linked it is definitely linked below, but I'm going to leave it in the chat. Carly, don't go away. I'm going to answer your question in just a second. So now if I'm just playing with this drum loop, I can do something completely different, informed on, other things. So it's more than just playing that thing. It's getting the ideas, the language, the spirit of that style. The number one way to learn how to thump and pluck or anything is to listen. The same way that you learned how to speak, listen, observe, copy. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do things that you think are right. They're going to be incorrect. And then over time you will correct them. I can't tell you how many songs that I have played and I'm like years. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to actually listen to the record. And then you listen to the record and be like, oh, I don't really go like that. You know what I mean? Somebody posted the other day on Facebook about, a couple of songs, in the blue collar based world, working world, I played Tennessee Whiskey for 50 gigs before I had ever even heard the song, like for real heard the song, right? I knew the song existed. I knew it was popular, but somebody said to me on a gig, do you know Tennessee Whiskey? No. It's kind of like I'd rather go blind. Okay, no problem. I knew I'd rather go blind, and I knew the feel, I knew the spirit of it, I knew all those things. So then I was able to just play it. And then I played it for a long time. And then I was like, maybe I should listen to this song and see how it actually goes. And then I was like, oh shit, I've been, it doesn't mean that what I played on the gig was wrong. It just wasn't exactly what was on the record, right? Anyway, tangent. Let me get to Carly's. Is that am I reading that right? I got my eyes are old. Hey man, I have been trying out slapping on the guitar and took inspiration from bass. One thing I noticed is that everyone slaps on the edge of the neck, while I feel more comfortable slapping more towards the bridge or in the middle. Why do bassists tend to slap on the edge of the neck, the last fret? What a fantastic question. Listen, first off, I think you do whatever is going to get the sound that you want. Whatever is going to get the sound that you're looking for is what you do, right? It's a sound thing, right? It's more percussive right here. You understand what I'm saying? But as a rule, I mean, there's some times when I'm using my thumb like a pick back here. It depends. I will switch between that and palm muting and kind of finger picking, right? Like if I did that same head groove, it just depends. It depends on the bass. You know what I mean? And why I slap or thump parallel like this is because that is what I watched growing up. That's what I saw. By the time I saw guys doing it this way, which I call this slapping. Me personally, semantics, but by the time people came around like Flea and stuff like that, I had already been doing this. I am also left-handed. I play right-handed, but I am left-handed. So all of these things are a product of mimicking, right? They're just mimicking. I couldn't play bass left-handed to save my life. You know what I mean? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But yeah, so Chris says it's about feel, and I 100% agree with that. Because, but feel, in order to feel, you must have a sense of rhythm, right? You must have a sense of rhythm in order to have feel, in my opinion. Mankind was beating on rocks long before they, took gut and turned it into string. So, what's up, Brandy Thrift? Where have you been? Brandy, well, I really miss you, Brandy. When are you coming back home? Everybody say, hey, Brandy. Brandy ain't been around here in a minute. So I think that is important. You have to know when to play the what. So just to recap, I was looking at, I was going to make some Instagram content, and I wanted to do a play along of Head because I was just kind of in a dirty mind sort of a mood. Not that my mind was dirty or in the gutter or anything, but you know what I'm saying. And then I said, man, this is just a really great vehicle to, you're welcome, Brandy, to talk about this. Myself, folk can make video after video after video after video after video about slapping and popping, thumping and plucking, all that. But if you do not put on a record and try to learn it by ear, ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Red says, my friend is a lefty but plays right-handed basses with the strings in it. That's bizarre. I have a really good friend. I have two good homies, Joshua Saylor. Joshua Saylor is a true lefty. He plays left-handed. His strings are inverted. But my friend Brian Dean in the Bay Area is another fantastic bass player. He is right-handed but plays left-handed, and I call him an idiot every chance I get. Lovingly, of course, but I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? Basses are more expensive, they're hard to find, yada, 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 yada. But that's what I have on this, man. That's what I have on this. And everything you do, I'm gonna turn my bass up just a little bit, and you can hear my bass through the interface. You can also hear the bass on my mic, from my mic. But I want you to hear all the things that are going on. I'm gonna try to stop all my grunting. 1, 2, 3. Do you hear all the other stuff that's happening there? And it's not overt. And there's definitely times when you need to really be mindful and control that. But Chevy Dodd, I knew there was something about your aura. And I said, Chevy Dodd is a good person. No, I'm just but yeah, man. So you don't know. I could remember learning this for the first time and the blisters on my thumb. And the first time that I was able to do something and I felt like, ooh, wow, I got it. And then I didn't want to stop. And then I, have to go somewhere and I'm like, with Band-Aids on my thumb, right? Also, I'm going to put the Groove School store link into the comments. There that is. So, another example I'm thinking about is Louis Johnson, right? That's like the baseline basic rhythm, right? That you hear in a lot of Louis Johnson lines, right? Screwed it up. So while I screwed it up there, this is what you talk about, like a meditation. Let me watch this. I'm going to just put on the first metronome app I find.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Not no ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. You ain't about to make me look bad.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So what I did there was I tried to do too many things at once, right? We tried to do too many things at once too fast. So, hey, bro, put your ego aside. Let me turn this tracker off. The thing I like about Frozen Ape's tempo app is it's simple. It is simple. There's automation on there, right? So if you turn on the automator and you say, or the timer, I'm gonna do one thing for a minute. I'm gonna do one thing for a minute. It's like doing planks. Hey man, I can only do planks for 30 seconds. Okay, cool. Now the next time you do planks, I'm gonna do planks for 35 seconds, 60 seconds. What's up, Jade? You understand what I'm saying?
1, 2,
So
3, 4.
if I'm doing that and I turn that into a meditation, meditation is easy to like throw these words out. If I'm meditating and I'm focusing, I'm consciously telling what they call the monkey mind, and I got one, is going to be all over all these things, but the goal is to concentrate on that one thing. So I may tell myself in, hold, out, right? The goal may be in, count to 4, out, count to 4. You see what I'm saying? But the point is to focus on that and cut out the other stuff. You dig? So if I take a rhythm or a paradiddle or a whatever you want to call it, because that is essentially a paradiddle, right? Borrowing from the drum language. My goal may be to play that for 1 minute with the same dynamic. That may be a criteria that I'm setting for myself, right? So the same dynamic. Look at my hand. I'm not beating the crap out of this. Now, when I reach that goal, then I may say, okay, now I want to do, depending on when you get to that point, hey, you know what? I want to increase the difficulty level by 2, or the challenge level by 2 BPM or whatever, right? Or the challenge may be to add, I'm doing a hammer on and I'm doing it in an ascending motion, right? So can I do pull-offs? Not as fluid. Not as fluid. So then I have seen right there, hey man, if that's something that you want to do, maybe you ought to work on that. I didn't even talk about the coordination between that. That may be your starting point. And from there, all these other things start to happen. But I'm guilty of it as anyone else. Traditional yoga society, I've never had a yoga person comment on one of my videos, so I'm really happy about this. Love the implication of meditation. Meditation is not clearing the mind, but making it one-pointed. You know what I mean? The mind is good. You know, keeping your mind still is like keeping your tongue still. Now, listen, I was a weird kid, and I can remember I can remember being in the mirror one time when I was a kid. Oh gosh, this is one of the weirdest things I've ever done. But I stood in the mirror, about 8 years old, and I was trying to keep my tongue still. Can't happen. Can't do it. The tongue's going to do what it's going to do. Your mind is going to do what it's going to do. But it's training our minds, right? My father would ask me all the time when I was a kid, because you know, parents were going through a divorce and all this stuff, and not going to get into all my business, but you know, he would always ask me what I was thinking. He was interested in what I was thinking, and I didn't know how to express what I was thinking, and I would say nothing. Over the years, I reflect on that question, and times that I've been asked that question, times that someone else has asked me that question, and I'm like, I'm always thinking something. I may be thinking nothing in particular, but I'm always thinking something. There's something always going on. So as traditional yoga society says, in practice, I believe, and I need to get better at this myself, I ain't gonna lie to you. In practice, we need to know, this is the thing that I'm practicing. This is the amount of time that I'm practicing it for. These are the parameters that I'm setting to get good at. You see what I mean? So take, for instance, when I played the pull-offs, I wasn't as fluid. So I don't have the same amount of time as I used to back in the day to just like dedicate a whole bunch of time to practice, but I may put on the tempo app and whatever that is. I know what it's supposed to sound like. If I'm playing, I should have an idea of whether or not it sounds good or not, right? Now, to that, and I'm going to start landing this plane so I can get ready to go to the gym, but you have to dare to suck right this somewhere in your room. This applies to every aspect of your life. This started off with Prince's head and has gone into this. But every time I put out a YouTube video, there is some emotional thing. Every time I get on a live stream, there's some emotional thing that's like, is this going to suck? Are people going to like this? Are people going to resonate with this? Right? And there's a couple of things. One, you have to dare to suck because learning is in the doing. Let me say that again, all up in my shondo. You have to dare to suck, right? Learning is in the doing, and the time is going to go by whether you learn, do, or experience whatever it is you want to learn, do, experience. The time is going to go by whether you want to do it or not. Yeah, I think that's worth reflecting on for all of us, myself included. Right? You got to dare to suck. Learning is in the doing, and the time is going to go by whether you want to or not. Whether you do the thing or not. Right? But ultimately, you have to listen. You have to listen. If Marcus Miller is your thing, you need to listen to Marcus Miller. And then, not only would I do that, I would learn who the people are that influenced Marcus Miller. Who would Marcus Miller say his top influences are? If you're trying to get inside that sound. Now, this is a lesson that I didn't learn until much later, and I wish I would have learned it sooner. But, if time waits for no man, John Cook, you are absolutely right. We're all on borrowed time, right? You guys ever watch Hell's Kitchen or one of those bake-off shows? I'm not a huge fan. I did used to really enjoy Hell's Kitchen. Here's another one. When I was married, one of the things that my ex-wife and I bonded over early in our relationship was Project Runway. Yes, Project Runway. Here's the thing. You have people who are so skilled and knowledgeable about a thing that when they are tasked with making something in the style of or whatever, okay, you need to make me a dress out of newspaper and garbage bags in the style of whatever famous designer. Well, those people, the challenge is each one of those people, to get to that point, they are so skilled and knowledgeable about the genres, about the materials, and all of those things that they are able to make those things, right? I've been doing some recording for a friend of mine, some remote recording, and they have a bass player who's a very talented and skilled bass player. But that person, the thing that they want for these tracks, I know is a language that I speak more than that person speaks. Doesn't make me a better bass player than them. Not at all. I think what's good and what's better is subjective. But the sound, Red, it's good to see you, brother. You understand what I'm saying? There's a certain language that I'm going to speak over these tracks that they want, and also the gear that I have, the basses that I play, you know what I'm saying, are more in line with that. I hope that all makes sense. Listen, this is not rocket science. It's pocket science. And so really understand that you have to listen. Whatever it is, you have to listen and go down that particular rabbit hole. What kind of music do you want to play? Who do you want to play it with? But when it comes to thumping and plucking, man, you could watch you could spend the rest of your life watching YouTube videos, but if you don't listen and apply, you'll never get it. It ain't rocket science, it's pocket science. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Two fingers.